Welcome back to Coeur de Lis. What's our ultimate goal? Of course, it's a thriving tax-free economy, but we're facing some serious challenges. We need to stabilize our supply chains, tackle some critical stone and resource shortages, and finally get our paving projects off the ground to boost housing density. From expanding the tavern with an inn to unlocking new trade routes, we're pushing for growth despite the growing pains. Can we actually pull this off? Grab a berry brew from the tavern and let's dive in. Welcome back to Coeur de Lis, and in this episode we are going to continue progressing through the Labour estate. As you know, we've started on this path, we've made a decision, and before we get started, I just want to give some principles for growth towards our ultimate objective. And you know the ultimate objective, right, is to have the tax zero and have a healthy coin, treasury, economy. So in order to do that, I need to put in place, at least in the way that I like to lead, a few principles. So one is I'm going to target the population that comes into the village centre requesting to join our community into our labour needs, which means not everybody is going to get into the community. So for example, as we start this episode, we have 10 unemployed villagers, so we really need to put them to work. So we're going to focus on that, targeting that population. Then as we grow, as you know, we need to expand in order to keep moving towards our objective and progressing through the labour estate. We'll need to stabilize our supply chains, which you saw me do in the last episode. It includes going back over the same things that we've already established, making sure that people's productivity is there, that we don't have any missing resources or inventory that is being has no place to be stored, because as you can see, for example, in the bakery, we actually are full, right? We have 50 bread and we need to create space in the granary for that. So we need to stabilize all that supply chain. And then we need to keep optimizing the trade versus lowering the tax. Now, unfortunately, in this game, this is going to go into a wish list for the developers, I swear, is that we actually don't have an exact tax percentage that we can apply. So we have a scale. And right now we are not taxing commoners and we are only taxing serfs. And we have one more drop and that will put taxation down to zero. So we only have one more movement on this scale to get to the zero tax. I want to be really mindful of that. And so we need to optimize the trade and we need to minimize the tax, eliminate it ultimately. And then the other thing that I want to do is not have to do the emergency tax levying with the villagers, which means we might be running low on funds and it's preventing us from growing or achieving a goal. And so we do like an emergency tax levy, which pulls money into the treasury, but it destroys happiness. So we want to minimize doing that. I'm not saying that we won't do that. My experience in this game is those needs, those requirements, those situations do come up. Okay, so those are the principles before we get started. As you know, had some oopsies in the last game. I've totally forgot that I'd already sent the bailiff to go and negotiate that trade route with Northbury, improving that trade route, I should say. And then with the bakery complaining, I went and looked at the wheat farm, and it's not the wheat farm, it's the flour. We need that flour, so we need the mill to be operating more productively. And you can see we already have full staff and we are operating it at 100%. So there's not really much else we can do except possibly add another mill. So that's something that I'll keep an eye on and we'll perhaps take that action during this episode. Okay, so with that in mind, let's unpause the game, And let's look at the progression menu. So I mentioned before we set up that we were going to expand the tavern to have inn lodge, which will unlock a source of income, and then also pave roads, which will help our community be happy and move into this commoner and even citizen level, which is another goal, is to actually have optimal workforce. And some jobs require serfs, and some jobs are commoners, and some jobs are citizens. So that's another part of the game, right? All part of our principle of targeted population into our labor needs. All right, so let's go to the tavern, which we built over here. And let's add a sub-building. So we're going to do that, and we're going to add an inn lodge, and we'll do a thatched hall. Again, it does not need to be attached. It just needs to be in proximity to the building. At least that's been my experience, but actually, maybe we can put the inn somewhere really pretty. We don't actually need to have it near the tavern, but we will, because I like to have everything close by. So let's drop the inn over into the trees, and we'll decorate this too, so it'll look really, really pretty. And we're going to raise the building so that we can have inn lodge capacity right now is 7, and then it gets up to 10. Let's just make sure we're not creating an eyesore. I don't think so. And then we'll have a door, which we'll do the pretty door with the splendor. And we'll put that in the front, in the middle. And we'll go ahead and just double check that's in the middle. And we'll build that. Okay, and then we'll need an innkeeper, which we'll add right now. And it's best suited to a commoner. Let's look at La Salina. Oh, definitely a happy resident of Coeur de Lis, not happy with taxes, and losing a bit of happiness because the Merry Fair's been over for a while. That's okay. So we're going to promote La Salina to commoner, and then we should get maximum productivity from her managing the people that come into the lodging. Excuse me. Okay, so we've done that. And then the other thing is the pave your yard. Now, the pave your yard, generally speaking, I tend not to want to pave every road, just focusing on roads that lead around residences, because that's actually the need, right? So look at this house that that's just been built. We didn't build it. These occupants built it. And so beautification, there isn't any, we can add that. There's no commoner resident yet. And then paved road, right? So we need paved road, resident, citizen, and then that will help improve the housing quality, which will lead to an increase in the housing density. So yeah, that's the path we're on with all of the houses. So we need to pave this road. And indeed, we need to pave all the roads around the residences. Okay, and let's not forget, glad we came over to the island here. We built another sawmill because we noticed that our planks supply is not keeping up with the wood supply. So let's add a carpenter or 3, and then let's check that we have room. We should have room in a warehouse for that. And we have 0 in this and 46 in this. Do you know, that's really annoying. Let me just unassign that one. And then the other thing I want to mention is with respect to flour. So when the mill produces flour, I do want to add it to the granary. So let's see what we can do. Let's get rid of the fish and let's add flour. We always have bread and we have some wheat, so that's keeping that supply chain in that particular granary. And we do have another granary over here that we can take advantage of. We might end up putting a mill over by this farm, again, just to keep supply chain elements together geographically, physically. Well, virtually physically. I mean, we're not in a physical world here. Okay. Well, let's see what this is. Okay, so some villagers think it would benefit from new means of taxation. Do they? Well, let's remind ourselves that taxing isn't a very popular thing to do. Absolutely not. So let's not tax windmills. No thank you. We'll just continue on our own. Okay, so let's go back to the pave your yard. Now, paving requires stone, and we do have stone in this area. We have a stone cutter camp. So we could put a pave your yard, maybe even plop it right here. I think that's where we had originally the granary or warehouse. So let's build a pave your yard. And we'll start here on the island. And I think that's probably... Oh, I don't know. Don't want to bash that house down. Sorry that you're going to have a pave your yard in your doorstep. How are we going to orient you so that we don't smash everything up? I think this would work. It does encroach on that path. A little bit worried about that place. I have to rethink this. Maybe we'll put you over here. And then we're not obliterating anybody's backyard or front yard. Okay, let's build that. Okay, so let that get built. And let's see where we're at. Oh, with the stone cutter, we'll probably, yeah, definitely need... And I did notice that people were asking to join the community and we just let that lapse. So in the stone cutter camp, let's see what we have. Do we have any improvements? Let's go back into progression. Well, we have a stonemason hut improvement and we don't really have any stone cutting improvements that we can make, so sadly. But what we can do is, oops, we didn't mean to click on the people. Let's add a couple of folks to the stonecutter camp and let's increase production. So we're at 100%. It is best suited to the surf, so to keep that in mind, try not to promote, unfortunately, these villagers. They seem fairly happy, so that's good. Okay. Right, so where are we at now? Let's look. Our planks situation is looking way better. Now, let's see about the trade part of this. So, who are we trading planks with? Northbury, we can sell, and we can sell planks to Castle Harbour, but we don't have this trade route unlocked because we need 15 influence with the kingdom, which we don't have. Again, just like the clergy, we'll probably have tasks that give us some of that influence, so we'll look out for those. It's really a good idea to unlock as many trade routes as possible. So planks, we'll check the resources in a sec. But if you notice, we can now unlock the trade route with Davenport because we have 20 bread. Let's do that. And we'll start trading with them. So what can we sell them? We can sell them boar. And so we can put that into our resource book. And we can sell bread, obviously. Hops is another one. We can create a hops farm, and beer. And then when we start mining, look at this one. We can sell this gems to them. Now, I'll talk about the gems production line in a bit. Maybe not this episode, but it's something to keep in mind, because look at the coins per gem. That is brilliant. Honey you can only get from the clergy line and also the herbs, so we won't be doing that. And the grapes, which form the wine, which again all part of clergy. Wax is part of the honey supply chain. So really, even when we do Kingston Abbey, we can only sell berries and hops. So I'm not really going to try and bend over backwards to open that one. Okay, Castle Harbour, we'll be able to sell, well, swords and bows and spears, but we're not in the kingdom. Marble is something that we can sell. We can actually send the bailiff out looking for that resource, so we can create some trade there. Same thing with quartz. Quartz shows up when you start mining, deep mining, and gold and planks, and obviously coal here. So that's probably more of a priority to set up a trade route with Castle Harbour rather than Kingston Abbey. Okay, let's go look at our resources. Oops, wrong direction. Okay, so boar, look at this. We have 217, and now we can sell. Let's sell everything above. Let's just do 100. That's good. And then cheese will come when we know we can sell, but that will come when we put a pasture, cow farm. So let's look at that one. So here is the dairy farming. That's the word I was looking for. Dairy farming. So we need, for that we need 100 prosperity, which we have, and we need 250 coin to unlock, which we do have, but it takes space. Again, it's like the sheep farm. It does take up quite a bit of, and then you've got to, get the supply chain going. And I'm a bit reticent. I don't really want to do that until we have clearly advanced down the common path and moved through some of the labour estate. So we won't be doing that. We could activate milling taxes, even though we're not going to do that. That's just a matter of unlocking things. And I'm not really a big fan of just unlocking things for the sake of it. So that's not going to be happening. Then we have the Splendor package for the tavern, and again some additional functionality for the manor house. Now, I think we should look at this labor privilege, because this will unlock another slot, and we might be able to do something with that. So let's go back to the book and open our edicts and privileges. And this is what we're trying to unlock. So we already have the Merchant League. And so we can, unfortunately, this is yet another. I really wish the developer would let you see what other privileges are available in a given category before you start unlocking things. Making good decisions here, but I am going to unlock that anyway. Okay, so empty slot. So what would make sense for us? Okay, so we have labor upkeep reduced by 25%. Newcomers ignore the immigration factor, or happiness in the immigration. Not worried about that. We seem to have pretty good immigration. Additional taxation, again, not looking to do that. A residential tax, the happiness effect is decreased, so taxes is not going to impact. We could put that into effect if our happiness was sort of, going down the drain per se, but it's okay right now. And then family business. Every time we trade with a village, we gain influence with its estate. And actually, I think I like that one, because that will just start to increase the influence, which means, let me just enable that. Let me go back to the progression. So as the labor influence, every time we trade, that labor influence will go up, where we have a labor influence allegiance. And so otherwise you have to do tasks that give you influence. So that will just be a byproduct of trading. Hey, that's like passive income. That's really good. We like that. Sort of like affiliate marketing, passive income. Okay, before this goes away, let's have a look. Okay, a weary traveller passes by, pleasantly surprised to find there's lodging. They said no one along the route knew this inn was open. They ask if they may share the news. Yes, spread the word. Go for it. And let's get some money flowing into our lodging. And you can see here up to 10 visitors. We can actually have another innkeeper. So let's do that. Kolga, let's see you. You are now a commoner. Congratulations on your promotion. And have fun running the inn. And yeah, we hope that people enjoy the hospitality. So yeah, have a good time in your new job. Okay, let's have a look. I think I'm going to add one person. That's okay. Let's have just a double check of our different supply chains. So we need another treasury, so that's going to be on the list. Our coin tendency is good, it's gone up. And what are we struggling with now? So we're okay with the bread supply chain. That's healthy. We're okay with the refined food meat supply chain. No problem. Berries, we're getting low because obviously I mentioned this I think before, like when we start creating berry brew, that's going to eat up the berry supply. So we'll add some more gathering huts. So put that on the radar. Our coal, we are struggling to have a lot of coal. I'll check if we're selling more than we should. And then iron ore production, which will slow down the iron bars, which will ultimately affect the tools. So we need to look at coal and iron. So berries, coal and iron. Alright, so I'm just going to go into just play mode and watch along, and you know where we're heading, and yeah, we'll come back in a few minutes. So here we go. Okay, we are back, and you can see the pavers have started to do their job, which is to pave the dirt paths. Good job. I do like watching that. And then these houses on the island, so they're getting paved roads, but missing beautification and commoner resident. So we will work on that right now. Let's add some beautification. We do have some money, and you can see I bought another territory. That's in advance of needing to branch out. Oh dear. We did not raise happiness. Oh my goodness, I did not keep my eye on that ball. So our happiness took a hit, 25%. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? Water under the bridge. Let's keep moving on. Let's add beautification. So, just going to go through. Let's see what we can add. Would you like a flower vase on your property? Oh, do you know what? I really, really wish. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. So, if I'm in building and in decorating mode, I kind of wish that you could just go in, stay in decorating mode, pick the things that you would like to add to the various properties that you are working on. So like click that and then build all. So why can't I still see the decoration menu and have the build all? I don't know. Let's put it in the log. Conversations to be had with developers. Okay, let's add some pruned hedge. Ah, see, and then it's like it's instant. Look at this. This is already upgrading because we just added a little bit of beautification. They have a paved road and they have a commoner resident, right? So market tender's a serf and Jacqueline is the commoner. So we could just improve this one. We can move these two occupants of this building into resident citizen mode. We certainly have the money for it. Just want to make sure that we don't do something that causes more needs, advanced needs, and we haven't created a supply chain for that yet. So, okay. Let's go on. Let's keep beautifying. I do tend to like these oak planters because people will sit on them. Let's build that. And I'll have a hedge as well. I'd like to put those on corners. Maybe create a little row of hedges. How pretty is that? And then I like to put benches as well. Let's have a terracotta bench. Turn around. And I think we'll put something pretty around you. Yeah, let's push. So you can... And again, we're seeing almost instant improvement. Now, desirable neighborhood. Okay, this hasn't come up a lot before, but you can see that we have the sawmill, 2 sawmills, we have the paver yard. So these are unfortunately creating a bit of pollution. So whether that's noise or air pollution, maybe ground pollution, we can't really see, but if let's say I go to put a resource, I don't know, let's just pick something. So you notice this brownish tinge around it. That is, yeah, that's like undesirable feature. Again, I really wish this game would give you a little bit more tooling to help you address that. I mean, I can't move this building, I can only destroy it, and then that's not good, is it? Take away someone's place of residence. So, not sure what else we can do. We have desirable neighborhoods away from noisy, dirty, negative desirability area. Can't really change that unless we move these over somewhere else, either off the island or a bit further away. So let's have a look at this one. This one is less impacted and doesn't have any beautification, so let's fix that. And my experience in this game, again, leads me to do this in a kind of a systematic way. So as residences are being created, and look across the water, we painted that recently, is actually go and target, you know, a beautification activity. Oh, and you can see our treasury's been built. Now we're at 1700 in the coffer space. Yay! So we've got some beautification, and it's commoner resident. So who is not a commoner? Okay. We have Cynthia's, who's a serf, and looks like most needs or all needs are being met. So you could be a commoner. And let's have a look at the carpenter. Yep. You can be a commoner. And missing access to a church. So let's not worry about you at the minute. And let's have this person. Wait, you've just moved in. There were 2 spots. This person's just moved in. So what's your happiness? Fetching meat. You're unemployed. Well, we need to fix that. Okay, let's close all those down. Okay, let's have a look at where we're at. Geez, I'm really disappointed in myself that we didn't have a happy fair, and that we have really taken a hit on the happiness level. So we can't really do anything about that. That event it's in the past. So what can we do? Nothing. Okay, so I added this territory here, all this wooded area. And my thinking is that if we do have a supply chain issue with coal and also iron ore, then we have an opportunity to explore some of this space. So we might end up putting a charcoal hut somewhere in this area, wood cutting, etc. But before I do that, I'll just take that off. Let's see what the hunting is like over here. So we do want to have some hunting. We need to balance this out. So let's create a hunting area, because we are selling boar meat as a good, and also the refined meat as well. So we'll do that, and then we will build a hunter's hut. Now I can't put you there, that's outside the territory. I don't really want to buy a new territory, but let's have a look at the territory. Let me just close this down. Let's make a good judgment call here. So buying that territory, which is very tiny, is what else do we have? Do we have any other resources here? Let's have a look. Like a stone cutter, a stone pile that we can... I don't see any icons telling me that. So let's have a look. We have iron. Do we have any iron there? Don't see any iron there. It would pop up. Let's see. let's do this. Let's go back into the hunter's hut and let's put the hut in the woods. That makes sense, doesn't it? So I'll put you there. And we have 3 people that are unemployed, so we're okay on that score. And I think, again, we are, you know, we're just making really good progress. Let's just have a check. We've got influence that we can spend. That's 20 per item. Maybe we'll do the Splendor package for the tavern. And we'll also do the Manor House City Architecture for now. And then we have to wait until that influence grows up. And if you remember, we turned on that privilege, which is, I think, what is growing that influence, because we haven't been doing anything else to raise the influence. So yeah, you can see how it quickly adds up. So we don't need to unlock this, but we do need to get our Splendor up to 150, which is why it makes sense for the Splendor package, which I think we will do in the next episode, because I'm pretty happy with that. I don't like to keep my episodes too long. I know when you watch, and I appreciate that you're watching. I do want to put somebody in the stone camp right away, so we can get some stone built up for the pavers. Yeah, so I don't like to have really long videos. I do appreciate you watching. I'm seeing, you know, the viewership rise, and wow, that just makes me super happy. And I hope you are enjoying this, and I'm going to leave it here, and we'll come back to this in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.